What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Carolina David. Today, I want to talk to you all, man, about children's rights, and it might linger into, like the absence of fathers as well. Without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, guys. Here's what I want to I just want to speak on the fact of, I don't understand how a child have a right at the age of, I've seen some on television from the age of like 4 or 5 years old up into their teens. They have the right to be able to say, well, I want to be if a little boy, for example, he would have the right to say, I want to be a little girl, and he can become a transgender, or vice versa, a little girl to a little boy. But, and here's some photos where you could actually see little kids, transgender kids on NBC News, transgender kids, like it's a lot of them. It's a lot of transgender kids. Here's even a video of a little. I might get talked about or whatever because of where they got it to the point now where you can get fined if you call a boy that's dressed as a girl a boy, and whatever the case may be. I mean, it's so very confusing. But here's a video of this little kid that was once a boy, now a girl.
What grade are you going into?
I'm going into kindergarten.
Oh, look.
Oh, a piece of Ariel.
Well, that's it.
This one goes
Nice. Good job. Do you want to show us some of your other favorite toys? Like maybe your 5 favorite toys?
My most favorite ones. Well, my most favorite 5 ones.
Now I want y'all to listen at one of his favorite toys.
First is my little birdie. Well, this one, and my bird is my other one.
His most favorite coming up.
Polly. I even have a book of My Boy Princess.
My Boy Princess. People are actually coming out with books called My Boy Princess. How do you expect the child to even grow up, with the chance to make the decision of their own to say, well, I want to be a boy or I want to be a girl? Like, if you got books out right now where little kids, they read books. Like, because typically, let's be honest, a child learns by seeing and hearing. You know what I'm saying? So it's just not them like, oh, well, hearing like, I'm a little girl. They actually see this stuff too. They got little books out talking about My Boy Princess. I even seen a book where it was talking about, it was in the line of like Jack and Jill, but it's something I can't remember it, man. But basically, it was 2 boys together, like being boyfriend and boyfriend. Like, these are the children books that they're putting out. Like, how do you expect this little child, this little boy? How do you expect this little boy to even have a chance to be a little boy if he don't have any hope? You know what I'm saying? He don't have a chance. I mean, just listen at him.
Why do you like that book?
Well, because it's about a boy who likes to be a princess.
Does this story remind you of your story at all?
Well, when Mom thought I was a boy and dressed me like a boy, I did not like it. So
I don't know about anybody else, but if you look at this little child look like it's confused. Like, they keep doing like this. the child look like it's confused. It look like it might be going through a period in his life to where it's like, okay, what am I to do? You know, like this little boy said that his mom dressed him up as a boy. He didn't like it. Me personally, I don't believe. I know there's people out there that say, well, you know, children they can be born. They can be born.
It is nice.
Why did it? I know people that say children can be born gay. You know, be born in the wrong body. I don't mean no harm, but I'm not a believer in that. I don't see if I don't see how you can be born like you going from your father's womb, from your father's genitals to your mother, to the mother's womb, and right then automatically from probably from the father's genitals, you gay. Like you don't even have a mentality at that point. You don't know what you are. You don't know what you're doing. You don't start getting your own like thought process until you're at least about getting your own thought process. I would say you don't start getting your own thought process until you're at least about 5 or 6 years old, when you start thinking for yourself on like what you want to do and all that. Like, I don't believe a child is born gay. I believe like, for one, I even heard a young lady say that she wanted a girl, but she had a boy. And every time she, like, the child was around or whatever, she kept saying, yeah, he was supposed to be a girl. He was supposed to be a girl. And then next thing you know, as some years go on, the boy turned out to be gay. Like, or like, and I also believe that when you in your mother's womb, if you keep cause like energy travels, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you keep, like, if a woman keep rubbing on the womb, my little baby girl, this is a girl, you know, whatever like that, or and then as the baby come out, like, I just feel like that from that point, that critical point from the time that they're born to the time they're suckling on the breast, up until they get off the breast milk, I feel like right then that's a critical point where you can actually impose on that child to be a boy or girl. You can, you know, just start giving the energy to it. You know, for example, with fathers, when it come down to little boys, you don't see fathers out there, like, for example, if I remember one time when my son was riding his bike. I think it was about 2-3 years old. He was riding his little bike, and he fell off the bike. Like, right then, he looked at me, and I looked at him. Like, I wasn't going to go call him, my baby boo. I wasn't going to do all that. All I did was just look. He looked at me. I looked at him. He got up and walked it off. Like, he walked it off. You know what I'm saying? So basically, right then, it was, in a sense, training him to be tough. You know, to endure like pain, to be like a boy, because boys typically are rough. You know, and we fall, we play basketball, football, or whatever like that. And if the first time you get touched on, get hit or something, you know, you're gonna be picked on. You know, whatever like that. So right then, at that point in time, my boy got off. He got up, got on his bike, and walked it off. Now, let's say a mother would have seen her child fall off the bike. The first thing she goes, my baby, you want me? Right there, you cannot, like. It's even Bible scriptures that even basically points out the fact that men, we supposed to be there. You know what I'm saying? Like, we it's our job to train and raise the children. It's our job to do that. Like, yeah, from the time that they're born And to the time that they come off the breast milk, yes, you with mama because mama got to feed you. But once you be able to walk and whatever like that, now it's our turn to instill into that child like the values of life, to teach them about what's going on in the world and stuff. Like it's our turn. It's our time then to teach them to be men and also to be women. Like, let me see. This. Let me see if I can find it. Right here. These are statistics of fatherless homes. 1 is 4 times greater risk of poverty. 2 is 7 times more likely to become pregnant as a teen. That was what I was saying. Men really can teach their children, teach their daughters to be women, because like right then, as men, we really gonna tell our daughters, baby girl, I love you. Baby girl, you don't have to do this. Baby girl, find a man that's better than me. Baby girl, we're going to basically instill that into the children to where, because a lot of these women out here who, I'm sorry to say, but who are raised by single mothers, they really, it's rare that they hear, I love you from mom. It's rare to hear that. And it's sad, man, because I know this little girl, man, and when she was with the father and the father's side of the family, all the time she always heard from the daddy, I love you, baby girl, and from the family, all right, baby girl, all right, little cousin, I love you, have a good night. And from the time frame that this mother had basically abused her child, in a sense, because I look at it as abuse when you blatantly take your child away from the father just because of how you feel about the father. That right there is wrong. You should not take your child away from the father just because you have an out against the father. If you have an out, I was speaking with a lady the other day, and she even said the same thing. If you have an out with that father, you should not let that child see it. What you should do is tell the father, come here, let me talk to you across the street or somewhere, or around the corner to where the child can't see it. And you let the father know what's up right then, or the father let the mother know what's up right then, instead of doing it in front of the child. But as I continued, like for 2 years, this child was away from the father. The father was trying his best to find her and everything. And from that time point, man, like the little girl, she's a beautiful young lady. Now, whenever the father or the family of the father say, I love you, she be like, okay. Like, it's sad, man, because you should let your child live, man. Like that's where I was gonna go with this, you guys. I don't understand how a child can be 4, 5, whatever age may be, and that child can have the opportunity and the right to say that they are a boy or a girl if they are that other sex, and you have to acknowledge them that way. But the child who is their age, who has the right mindset to say, well, I'm a girl and they're a boy, they don't have the right. They can't say, I want to stay with my daddy. Like, how is that possible? That, man, I know a lot of children, even me myself, I wanted to know my daddy. I wanted to know my daddy when I was a child. Typically, children want their father. That's typically how it goes. You cannot make that child. You can make that child change, but by keep patronizing them and keep. If you want to stay with your father, then go be with him. Then, like you even seen on videos, movies, and shows where these women do that, and it's like, how is it that because like I said before, movies and television shows, all they basically do is show what really going on. They get it from somewhere. So how is it that these movies and television shows put this out here, but even the government still don't make a move on it? Like, the statistics show even that it's more likely for a child to even go to prison, juvenile, if a fatherless home, if they raised by single mothers. That's statistics. The statistics show the behavioral problems of children that's a fatherless homes. Like this right here. Look at this. I don't know if y'all can see it big enough. Let me see if I can enlarge it. Okay, that should be good. Right here, poverty. 4 times greater risk of poverty. That's children that's raised like fatherless. Right here, the father absence crisis in America. There is a crisis in America. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, 19.7 million children, more than 1 in 4, live without a father in the home. Consequently, there is a father factor in nearly all of the societal ills facing America today. Research shows when a child is raised in a father-absent home, he or she is affected in the following ways. 1. Poverty. 4 times greater of risk of poverty. 2. Teen pregnancy. 7 times more likely to become pregnant as a teen. 3. Behavioral problems. More likely to have behavior problems. Child abuse. Now I know a lot of y'all probably gonna be mad and whatever, but look, the truth is the truth. When I was coming up, even you see it in daggone in comedy specials, where they even say, spare not, where they always use the Bible scripture, spare not the rod, then the spoil the child. And they will beat their kids with whips, extension cords, belts, whatever they can get their hands on. That right there, to me, is abuse. Now, there are times where you got children that, they get to smelling themselves, and you got to set them in order. But typically 9 times out of 10, even the woman I talked to the other day, she even said when she was raising her kids, she didn't beat her kids like that. She said she gave them spankings. She said out of their entire life, she probably gave them a spanking or a whooping about 5 times. And I can honestly say, even with my son, like I think I spanked him like 3 times in his 10 years of living, and majority of the time all I do is talk to him. Like, you don't have to beat children to be for real to get them to act accordingly. All you have to do, like, just talk to them. Just go ahead and talk to them and let them know what's right and what's wrong. Let them know not to be a leader, to be a follower, not to be a follower, to be a leader. Just let them know what's going on. Or even if you do decide, well, I'm gonna still whoop my child tail, at least talk to them first and explain to them why they're about to get the punishment they're gonna get. But I just personally feel, this me, and this is my opinion, I personally feel like when you whoop your children to that extent, like, spanking them on the hat, a few times or whatever like that, that's understandable. But when you just sit there and rearing back and then that that child's going like this or ducking and moving, you hitting that child anywhere that they're gonna switch, belt, extension cord, whatever, you hitting them wherever it lands. That is a form of abuse to me. I don't care what nobody says. And this right here even says as well, child abuse more likely to face abuse and neglect. You see on television, even in the news, they're gonna meet stories where children die in house fires, whatever, because the mother went out to the club and went somewhere with the boyfriend, leaving the children there by themselves. But then that same woman that did that will still have the opportunity to get her child back again. Mom to child health, I guess is what it's saying. 2 times greater risk of infant mortality. Substance abuse, more likely to abuse drugs and alcohol. Now, I used to always like wonder, like, why do these kids smoke weed so much? Why they smoke weed and trying to do this lean and drinking alcohol so heavily, even at a young age of 18, 17, whatever like that. Now, this right here gives you your answer. Being in the fatherless home. Bingo. Incarceration. More likely to go to prison. And it's a statistic that even shows that I think it's about 80% of the children that go to juvenile and prison, 80% of them are raised by single parent households. I'm gonna just be real, single mothers. 80%. Child obesity, 2 times more likely to suffer obesity. Crime, more likely to commit crime. Education, 2 times more likely to drop out of high school. And there's a lot of kids today, and I'm gonna be honest, I just be listening to them. I'm like if I go to like Wendy's or somewhere and order, like, I can get them a $20 bill and my meal can come up to $10.83. If that cash register just so happen to go on the fritz or something like that, they be like, oh man, I don't know how much of these you get back. I like, where's the meal with $10.83? Yeah. Hold on real quick, let me get my calculator. You can't do the math in your head. And there's a lot of children that do drop out of high school, early. There's a show that I like to watch. It's called The Chi. And the new episode, it was the newest episode, and it was showing where this little girl had, I guess in a sense, like, she didn't drop out of high school, but she wasn't going to class because she had to take care of her brothers and sisters while her mom went to work. Now, that right there is a problem within itself. One, you have the opportunity, you have the right to have a child when you want to, even if the man the man that you about to have a baby with, it could be a one night stand or whatever. If that man say, I'm not ready for a kid, or I don't want a kid, you would still go and have this daggone man's baby just because you want to have it. Now, right there should be some type of law that if you decide to have a baby and this man say he don't want to have it, because let's be honest, you say your body, your choice. Now, it should be some type of way of saying my sperm, my choice, because we were just having sexual intercourse to have fun. And let's be honest, that's one thing that's wrong too, where we don't know the actual law of like sex, like how God even looks at it to be. When you have sexual intercourse with someone, he looks at you to be married. We don't even, like, I remember growing up where my mom even used to tell me, don't you have sex before marriage? And I used to always wonder, like, okay, why? I'm a child, you know. I mean, because like my friends and everybody, they out there, shoot, they back in the day we used to play hide and go get it. You know what I'm saying? When we was playing that game, everybody else was doing it, but then you telling me don't have sex before marriage. Okay, why? Because it's wrong. It's a sin against God. Okay, explain to me why it's wrong though. It's just wrong. Don't do it. But then if you look around and you look at your older cousins, your aunts, even down to your mother, your grandmother, all of them are not married to the man that they with, but yet they having sex with them. So it's like, hold up, if y'all doing it, why come I can't do it? I don't know, lost where I was going because I just went everywhere. But the fact of the matter is, man, oh, that's where I was at. I look at it like, if you like this here, it should be a law that says, women, if you choose to bring forth this child into this world, and this man has said that he don't want to have a child, and you still bring this child in this world, you are not liable to get child support. And the reason why I feel like that, because guess what? If that was present, do you really think that women will go out here and have sex and have a baby by, let's say, a basketball player, and that man said, well, I ain't ready for no kids, and she knows she can't get no type of monetary gain from this man? You think she's gonna really go out here and have a baby by him? Other than probably to get exposure, but heck, he could still say that ain't my baby. You ain't really get no exposure. Do you think that these women would have one night stands with men that they know probably got some money, and then say, it's all right, I'm gonna put you on child support? Even on that show, The Shy, man, the women, just soon as she got mad with him, she put him on child support. Like, I feel like in order for you to get child support, you should be married. You should be married first, and then have kids, and then, you know what I'm saying, get not a divorce just because you don't like the way this man look, or you don't like the way he talk anymore, or the way he dress anymore. If he gain weight, don't get no divorce like that, because even the scripture in the Bible, where the Bible even tells you that you cannot give your husband, husband can't give a wife a bill of righting of a divorce outside of adultery. Let that be a law. The only way that you can get a divorce from this person is through adultery, if you catch that person in adultery. So that then right there is going to cancel out the high rate of divorce that's going on. It's going to cancel out children being born out of wedlock. It's going to lower the stats of poverty, government assistance and stuff like that. It's going to lower that stats. Why? Because now the fathers can be in the life. I feel like, I'm hoping that one day I can get big enough, or get a following to the point where we can actually take it to the streets and go to the Supreme Court or something and actually demand change. Because like you see these stats. You see it right here. Poverty, teen pregnancy, behavior problems, child abuse. Right here. Here's another one. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all ain't seen it. Here's another one. Many school shooters are the product of broken homes. School shootings have been increasing, and there is a strong probability that this is the product of single parent homes that are fatherless. The result of a failed social experiment by the family courts. Right there. Family courts force children into broken homes with single parents just because the parents divorce or separate, even when both parents are fit. Broken homes are leading to adolescent epidemics. Like, come on, single mother home statistics. 37.8% of single mothers are divorced. Look at the divorce rate right now. 37.8% of single mothers are divorced. Just think about how many people in the United States alone, how many women there are. Millions. So within the millions of women that's in the United States, it's probably a million or so divorced. And like, the divorce probably isn't even like something on the grounds of adultery or something. It's probably just because you just don't know how to communicate anymore. You know, you don't have no type of communication, no type of interaction with one another. And then you just say, well, I want a divorce. 41% never married. 41% of women never married. But you having children. And only 6.5% widows. Come on now, look right here. 72% of juvenile murderers, and 60% of rapists came from single mother homes. I even said one time before how a lot of times when the children get, I don't think I said this before, but I'm gonna say it right now. A lot of times when children get raped, molested, abused, and all of that is from single mother homes. And the reason why, because mothers, they typically have a live-in boyfriend and whatever like that. That's not that child's father. So guess what? You got your child age 10, 11, 12 that's hitting puberty, that's starting to form, getting their form. You got them around a man who is not that child's father. And come on, you don't just see where I'm going right now. Don't you think that man is gonna start looking at that child like, it's not his child. He don't really care about it like that. I mean, you got some men who might step up and be a father actually, but especially the ones that's ex-cons. Like, that don't make no sense how an ex-con who did 10, 15 years in prison come out and can get a woman who has children and just get her just like that and be able to live on her couch or whatever like that and nothing said, man. It's just like, it's crazy. It's crazy. In a recent study by the Baltimore-based Annie E. Casey Foundation, comparing statistics for its kids count report, the organization reported that Detroit ranks number 1 in unmarried births among the nation's 50 largest cities. Of the 16,729 babies born in Detroit in 1997, 13,574 were black. $16,729 babies. 13,574 of them were black. 1,679 were white. 817 were Hispanic. 71% were born to unmarried mothers. This compared with the state average of 33% and a 50-city average of 43%. I'm gonna just say this right here, right now. One, we need to get back to the Bible. We need to get back to the Bible, and we need to start having fathers back in the homes of children, because fathers, I'm not saying this to be no male chauvinist or nothing like that, but typically fathers tend to care more for their children than the mother do. Like I remember I remember going to the store one day, and I seen this woman walking in front of her child. Matter of fact, my wife had seen it and she told me about it. This woman was walking in front of her child while the child was behind her a few paces back in the parking lot where cars can back out and do whatever they need to be, do whatever they need to do, and she just walking right on the front of them like, and the child behind her. How many times do you ever see a father walk in front of their child, not paying them no mind? Typically, you're gonna see that child beside that man, not in the street, but on the side near where the cars is at, and they probably gonna be holding their child's hand. Now, if they're in the store somewhere, the child might be a little bit behind because the child might see something in light. But guess what? You're gonna see the father do? Look back. You're not gonna see that. I guarantee you, in a lot of situations, you're not gonna see a child straight away from that father, like across the store, while the father's over here. You're not gonna see that. Reason why? Because we know that there are child predators out here, and we want to make sure our child is safe. You have so many cases where you see mothers over here in the store, over here in the clothes section or whatever, and the kids over there in the toy section, and the next thing you know, the child wind up missing. We need to be back in the homes, man. Like right here. This is what the Bible even says. Zechariah chapter 1. Verse 2, it says, "And ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord." Now, I heard so many times where people say, "Oh, women are the nurturers of the children." Well, the Bible just even said that we are the ones that's supposed to bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. So that means that we should be the nurturers, right? Typically, fathers are more compassionate for their children than their mothers are. That's not a lie. I mean, you might say, "Well, David, that's just your opinion." As the Bible so say, watch as well as pray. Just start watching, like women that have children. You might see a woman, she got one child in the stroller, one on the hip, and one in the cart. Just see how she talks to them kids. Like, matter of fact, I seen one time with this little girl. It was at a Walmart. This little girl, I know she couldn't have been no more than about, I'd just say give or take 5-6 years old. Little girl said she had to pee. The mother told her, "Well, take your mother over there to the bathroom and pee then. Hurry up, ass." Cussing at the little kid like it's a grown man or a woman, like it's a grown woman. How many times do you see a man, take your mother effing over there and go to the bathroom there? Hurry up. You know what I'm saying? How many times do you see our fathers do that? Because we're more compassionate. Now, not saying that we don't get mad and don't get angry. Hey, that happens. But come on now. You can't just sit here and say that men are not fit to raise children. Even, matter of fact, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. I know it's probably a stat out there that shows you how children do better with men than women. Let's see. Statistics of children raised by fathers. Hold on, you guys. I'm trying to find it. children raised by single fathers. Stats. I'm gonna click on the first one. Oh, this is the one. This the same one I just seen a while ago. Hold on, let me go back. Let's see what this might say. Let me click the second one. Now watch this. It's something gonna pop up where it's gonna say but here's a stat that says children in single father and single mother families raised by race. White, you see more, probably around about 55 to 56% are with the father, and around 32-33% are with the mother. Black though, that's probably about 12-13%. What, 31-32% with the mothers. Hispanic is almost even. You got about 24%, and then about 27% in Hispanic. Asians even 2+ race. But let's see. Single fathers are more likely to be cohabitating. Single father families are better off financially than single mother families. For example, Pew reports that the median adjusted annual income for a single dad with 2 children is about $40,000 compared to $26,000 for a single mom with 2 children. Let me see about the children's sex though. They ain't really showing much of nothing. It was one I seen a long time ago where it showed how. What is this? Okay, father's involvement in education. When fathers are involved in the lives of their children, especially their education, their children learn more. Bingo. Children learn more, perform better in schools, and exhibit healthier behavior. Even when fathers do not share a home with their children, their active involvement can have a lasting and positive impact. There are countless ways to be involved in your child's education at all ages. Bingo! I told you, somewhere down the line is going to show you. 92% of students in grades K through 12 had parents who reported receiving any information from the school on the student's performance. 83% had parents who received any information about how to help with homework. 59% of students in grades K through 12 had parents who were very satisfied with their child's school. 55% had parents who were very satisfied with the school's parent-staff interactions. I'm telling you, like everywhere you go, man. Like statistically, fathers are more compassionate, more attentive to the children. The children had healthier behaviors, and the reason why I'm saying like stuff like this, man, because fathers are needed, man. Like, men, we need to stand up. We need to start standing up and coming together for fathers' rights and men's rights movement. You got women out here who they have women's empowerment and women's rights, to where they can lie on a man and say that they was raped, and when the truth come out and say, well, no, that woman really wasn't raped, don't nothing really happen to the women like that. But the man, his life done been destroyed, probably going to prison for something that he ain't even do, and then you got your children. Like, that's the reason why now I even tell my young son right now, I don't hide nothing from him. I let him know what's going on in the world, because I don't want him to be ignorant to it when he get out in the world. I don't want to be able to one day wake up and then my son be in the news for a rape that he didn't even do. Like, I don't want my son to fall victim of being with the wrong crowd and then mess around, go to prison for something that he ain't even do. Like, that's the reason why I tell him all the time. I say, you gotta be careful of your friends, because if your friends do something and tell you to do it, and you get a call home from school or whatever like that, and they tell us what's going on, I tell them all the time, you're going to get in trouble for that boy. But if you do something yourself, and you act up yourself, then if you get in trouble, you get in trouble for your own actions. I tell them all the time to be a leader, not a follower. I tell them all the time, and my boy made me proud. I want to give my boy some praise right now, because I remember one day when I took him, we played basketball, and one of his friends had wanted to come over to the house with us, but it was late. It was the sun had done went down, and I told him, I said, hey, we're going home, because I want my boy to be in the house before the street lights come on, whatever, old school basically. And the boy was like, well, my mom said it's okay, that I can come over. I was like, but you haven't talked to your mom. And then he was like, yeah, but my mom said it. And then my son said, you're lying. It's not good to lie, right, Dad? Right then, I'm like, you know what, my boy, listen. He made me very, very proud. But I'm going to end this video by saying this, man. Look, there's a change that need to be taking place right now. And I'm going to really just basically point to my race of people. There's a change that need to be taking place. We need more fathers standing up for our children. We need more children. Like, we need to basically have a daggone, God, I can't think of the name of the daggone the form that you got to sign where you get signatures. I just drew a blank. But anyway, we need more. Like, we need to get a God, I can't think of the name of the thing, man. I hate it. But we need to come together. We need to go to the Supreme Court somewhere, and we need to demand equality. We need to demand the fact that if a child do be born, like, especially if the father want to be there, it should be okay. Right now we're gonna see. Matter of fact, no, scratch that. When a child is born, if the father do say, look, hey, I'll be there. I want to be there for my child. Right there, it should be like, ma'am, he wants to be there for his child. You don't get child support. You got to work it out with the father. Like, that father has the right, every right that the mother has to be in that child's life. I mean, just think about it, y'all. Don't it seem kind of odd how the government really don't care about children like that? Because you got all these statistics that shows you how children that are raised by single mothers and raised in a single parent household, we already know what they pointing towards, but children that are raised by single mothers are typically more likely to go to prison. They have health, behavioral problems. Matter of fact, even spoke about school shootings and stuff like that. It really stems from broken homes. But it's like the government don't care. It's like Matter of fact, I'm not even gonna put it on the government. I'm gonna put it on us. It's like we don't care. Like, I don't know what else to say. All I'm gonna say is, man, look, let's make a change, man. Let's do better. Let's, women, please, I beg of you, allow your children to make choices of their own, whether they want to go to stay with their dad. Your child, your baby boy, he wants to come stay with you. All right, this is what we can do. While he's staying with you, I want to be able to see him on weekends. If y'all stay in different cities or whatever like that, I want to be able to see him on weekends. Let's work something out. Basically, co-parent. That's what needs to be taking place. But anyway, man, I love y'all. Have a good night, and please, man, let's start. Like, for one, we need to start getting the Father, the Most High God, back in our lives, because morally, when people are more into church and into, I don't really like to say Christianity, because if you look in the Bible only mentioned Christian 3 times, and in a sense, to me, when I read it, it was like almost in a sense like the N-word to black people. It was a sarcastic, it was like a derogatory term. So I like to say believers in Christ. Like, when we was more believers in Christ, man, we had less violence, and we had more unity. We had more love amongst one another, man. I mean, because like right now, it's like we don't love one another. It's like we at each other's throats. Like, every time you turn around, you hear somebody joking on somebody. They always talking about somebody, how they look, how they dress, how they do this and how they do that. You know, we need to get that out of our system. Instead of looking at a person and criticizing them on just because they got holes in their jeans, look at that person and be like, hey, I got a pair of jeans that I ain't wearing, you want them? Let's start giving a helping hand to one another instead of tearing each other down. Anyway, man, y'all have a good night. I love y'all. Carolina David, out.